Luca Guadagnino's 2017 movie Call Me By Your Name captured the rise, fall, and in-between of a failed summer romance. 2 years later, Tyler the Creator released his 5th studio album, EYRFYEUC, an album that captured the messy aftermath of heartbreak. Call Me By Your Name and EYRFYEUC couldn't seem more different on the surface. One a tender period piece, the other a synth-driven breakup album. But when you look a little closer, things start to line up. Call Me By Your Name is set in 1983 Lombardy, Italy. We follow young Elio on vacation with his family when an exchange student studying under his father named Oliver arrives. The first thing Elio says upon seeing him is, before their first interaction, just Oliver's presence arises not only a sense of insecurity in Elio, but a sense of being replaced. This compounds over the next few days. Oliver becomes acquainted in Lombardy, discovering places Elio himself had never found. He's a social butterfly, befriending all Elio's friends as well as attracting the attention of many of the girls, but particularly Chiara. Chiara was a girl who was quote-unquote obsessed with Elio the previous summer, but had matured over the year and seemingly forgot about him as soon as Oliver arrived.
Che ne so? Quanto vorrei essere nei suoi panni?
Chi non vorrebbe essere nei panni di lei, piuttosto?
All this, along with Oliver's dismissive attitude, led to Elio disliking him.
Later. Later. Well, later. All right, later.
Non gli sembra ineducato come dice later? Arrogante.
I don't think he's arrogant.
Just watch, this is how he'll say goodbye to us when the time comes. With his later.
Well, later, Promens.
Later. Later.
I think he's shy. You'll grow to like him.
What if I grow to hate him?
No, Piccino.
But as the summer unfolds, their relationship evolves from a rivalry to a romance, marked by emotional vulnerability and secrecy. Elio and Oliver bond over their shared ethnicity and their love of music.
I used to have one of these.
You used to?
Yeah.
How come you never wear it?
My mother says we are Jews of discretion.
Well, I guess that works for your mother.
All the while, Elio grapples with himself, and it is only when Elio decides to embrace himself fully, by donning the Star of David, can he truly be vulnerable. The two reveal themselves fully, swapping names as they let their walls down. They stop hiding from each other, but still hide their relationship from everyone else, making it all the more difficult when at the end of the summer, Oliver returns home, leaving Elio heartbroken. This compounds when Oliver calls the family around Hanukkah to say he's engaged and getting married to a woman. The movie ends with Elio staring into the family fireplace with tears in his eyes, mourning a love lost. The credits roll as audiences are left wondering what happens next. But where the film ends, the album begins. Igor opens with our protagonist in the middle of a breakup that is anything but mutual, mirroring the end of Call Me By Your Name. But while Elio internalizes his heartbreak and retreats into himself, Igor is anything but subtle. Earfquake is a loud and passionate plea to save a relationship. The track says everything Elio couldn't. In the end, Igor's pleas land on deaf ears and the relationship is over. Just like Elio hearing Oliver is engaged to be married, Igor's lover is in a relationship with a woman and denying his quote-unquote true self. Track 3, I Think, takes us straight into the aftermath, something we never get to see from Elio. We follow Igor trying to cope with heartbreak and navigating the early stages of grief. Denial and shock, along with pain and guilt, litter the song. Lines like,
"Man, I wish you would call me by your name, 'cause I'm sorry,"
not only directly reference the movie, but flip the theme on its head. While Elio and Oliver's act of switching names symbolizes vulnerability, Igor is begging for closeness his lover is denying. As the chorus swells, we see Igor still deeply in love with the unnamed interest, even though that love isn't being reciprocated. Track 4, Everything You Run From You End Up Chasing, is less of a song and more of a proverb. It's no coincidence that the track mirrors the second act of the movie. During the summer, Oliver and Elio both pursue romantic relationships with women. Elio pursues Marcia, while Oliver courts Chiara. While never explicitly said, we see their true intentions in their behavior. In the scene before their day trip, Oliver is seen walking far behind Chiara and doesn't pull her close to him until he sees Elio watching him in the car. To outsiders, it might look like Elio and Oliver are in a love triangle with Chiara in the middle, but we know the truth. In retaliation, Elio spends the night with Marcia and brings it up at breakfast the next morning.
We almost had sex last night. Marcy and me.
Why didn't you?
I don't know.
Well, you know it's better to have tried and failed, right?
All I had to do was find the courage to reach out and touch. She would have said yes.
Well, try again later.
Elio begins the movie running from Oliver as he grapples with himself, but in the end, it is he who ends up chasing.
Il est où, Oliver? Mafalda. Sai dove è Oliver?
Assommi a me.
Il est où, Oliver?
Me demande pas. Hein.
Track 5, Running Out of Time, is in line with the third stage of grief, bargaining. Here, Igor is desperately trying to find a way to make his ex love him again. The same way we see Elio pursuing Oliver in the movie, writing and rewriting his note over and over, trying to find the words to get his feelings across.
Please don't avoid me. It kills me. Can't stand thinking you hate me. Your silence is killing me. I'd sooner die than know you hate me. I'm such a pussy.
The bargaining goes deeper, with Igor accusing his interest of denying his true self, simply because he's denying him a relationship.
Blind to yourself, I know the real you. Halloween ain't for a minute, lose the costume.
We never get to see if this is true, as the album is told explicitly from Igor's perspective. But we soon find out Igor is an unreliable narrator. We never see Elio express similar feelings in the movie, but the subtext is littered throughout their final conversation.
News? Oh, you're getting married? I suppose?
Sometimes you gotta close the door to open a window.
Exactly halfway through the album, we see a shift. On track 6, New Magic Wand, Igor flips from bargaining to anger, threatening both his ex-lover and their new partner. A magic wand, a metaphor for a gun, with the power to make her disappear. Despite the anger, the bargaining continues with "Don't Leave" being repeated 14 times on the song, showing Igor's desperation remains despite his anger. Although the delivery is aggressive, the actual lyrics reveal that Igor still longs for his love interest deeply.
She's gonna be dead, I just got a magic wand. We can finally be together.
Track 7, A Boy's a Gun, is a play on the feminist phrase, a girl is a gun. The phrase emphasizes the agency and power of women, in contrast to how socially they are expected to be docile and fragile. Igor cites how, like a gun, his lover can keep him safe from others, but at the same time put him in danger. To love is to be vulnerable and open yourself up to someone else. You at their mercy, and they at yours. Oliver and Elio achieve this in the film, and it's symbolized by the act of swapping names. Igor's lover, however, never fully opens up to him, leaving the connection one-sided. The unnamed lover pursuing a woman can be seen as not only rejecting Igor, but also rejecting himself. This track follows Igor's confusion as he and his ex try to rehab their relationship, but Igor resents the idea of sharing his interest. In the end, Igor is the one to call it off, telling his love interest,
"Stay the fuck away from me. Stay the fuck away from me. Stay the fuck away from me. I ain't gonna repeat myself, but stay the fuck away from me."
Track 8, Puppet, begins with bargaining despite this. The track speaks of Igor's lover like they're a substance that he can't go without.
I think Puppet is fucking heavy. That's dark. Like, that first verse is like, Jesus Christ, get a hold of yourself. A friend told me, like, oh, that first verse for Puppet could also be about someone having drug withdrawals.
When his begging doesn't work, he moves into stage 4, depression and reflection, with the question, did I wait too long, repeating over and over. Igor knows the relationship is irreparable at this point, even if just subconsciously.
But at some point, you come to your senses.
Track 9, What's Good, moves on to stage 5, The Upward Turn. The contrast in tone and production to the previous tracks mirrors the seemingly random mood swings that can come with grief. Igor is back to his God complex self, saying,
I believe in God when there ain't no mirrors around.
but this is just mania in the midst of heartbreak.
I don't know what's harder, letting go or just being okay with it.
Track 10 seems to immediately jump from the upward turn to the final stage, acceptance and hope. But if you read between the lines, Igor is still in stage 6, reconstruction, with lines like,
I hope you know she can't compete with me.
C isn't fully over the relationship. The first half ends with,
Let me do it over. Everything.
showing even though this relationship caused him great pain, he would be willing to do it all over again just to relive the good memories. Track 12, Are We Still Friends, is Igor moving back to stage 3, bargaining, under the guise of closure. Grief is not a linear experience, and people tend to jump around and even skip stages completely. But Are We Still Friends embodies the reality of experiencing grief. The incessant need to know if he can still be in his ex-lover's life shows the cyclical nature of grief. We never see Igor reach the final stage, acceptance and hope, with the album looping back to start the whole process over again. Call Me By Your Name and Igor couldn't seem more different on the surface. One, a tender period piece, the other, a turbulent breakup album. Yet both explore the unique violence of heartbreak, love stories forced into secrecy, where denial isn't a stage but a survival tactic. Oliver and Igor's lovers both choose to be with women in the end, and we can't really blame them. For Oliver, mid-80s America was not accepting of his preference.
You're so lucky. My father would have carted me off to a correctional facility.
As with Igor's lover, we can assume either the same, or that Igor's ego couldn't handle the reality of being the one not chosen. Elio's fireplace and Igor's autotune screams are two sides of the same coin. One internalizing his grief and stifled sobs, the other screaming at the top of his lungs. Both scarred by love, but while it's true that scars don't heal, they eventually fade.